Card King, here I come. Hello, music fans, music collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Card King Sports and Variety Show, a special Sunday edition. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490 AM.com, your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the telephone line, I welcome back to the program the legendary drummer of the Ramones. We welcome in the great Richie Ramone. Richie, Brian C., what's happening, my man? Hey, Richie, how are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry for
I lost you there. So what you been up to? You're calling from Mexico, right?
Yeah, Latin American tour. We did 4.5 weeks down here, and today we fly home finally, and it's just been a gas. You know, the Latin America is really kind to the Ramones, and you know we draw big crowds down here.
The Ramones always had a huge cult following, Rich, in Mexico City. So the fans are treating you good out there, huh?
Oh, really good. Yeah, really, really good. A lot of fun. But
and, I want to say congratulations on your book. I did finish reading the book. The title is I Know Better Now, My Life Before, During, and After the Ramones. Talk a little bit about the process in writing that book, Rich.
Well, the process was I met a guy, Peter Aaron, who actually put it on paper, and I would tell him the stories. He grew up in, like, my neck of the woods back there in New Jersey, New York area by Clifton, Passaic is where I'm from. So he knew the area. So it was a process of like 2 years just sending notes and talking on the phone and trying to remember, going back 40, 50 years, that was the toughest thing to try to get everything in the proper year and, to make it authentic, So I relied on a lot of friends to help me with that going through it. Did we do this? What year was that? When, that kind of thing. So.
And, Richie, going through the book, one of the surprises that caught my eye was, which I never knew, you were in a relationship with Frankie Valli's daughter.
Yes, Francine Valli. He lost 2 daughters within the span of, I think, 4 or 5 months. It was really tragic at that time. His oldest daughter was trying to come home in New York City, and she was locked out, so she went on the fire escape, leaning over to get in the window and fell off the roof. And then Francine died of an overdose, like, on my birthday. So it was really just a tragic thing. And if you watch, there's that Broadway play, the 4 Seasons, that play, I forget what it's called, and that scene is in there. It was really tough to watch when I went to see that, with Francine dying and everything, just an amazing singer, and you can hear her voice on YouTube on a couple songs. So, that was probably the first love of my life, you know what I'm saying?
That's amazing, really tragic. So, let's mention the book again. I Know Better Now, My Life Before, During, and After the Ramones. Where can the listening audience pick up a copy?
Well, basically, it's in stores, but it's mainly Amazon. You can get it. It's a great book. It's hardback. It's not soft. It's a hardcover book. It's stitched. Really beautiful pictures in there. It's a real quality book, and it is on Amazon right now. So, if you come to one of my shows, I always have them at my merch table.
So let's go back a bit, Rich. 1982.
Okay.
You're in your mid-20s, and the Ramones, facing a tough period, band tensions. Their albums weren't really doing too well. Right. And here comes, to be honest, Richie Ramone to save the band. I mean, you added to the lineup, your addition to the lineup quickly became, a different genre of music with your quick agility, speed, and the sound. Right. Talk about that experience when you first... your first performance with the Ramones.
Well, a kid in a candy store. I've been a musician for all my life. I started playing drums when I was 8 years old. So this was my first national act at 25 years old. I went to the audition, blind audition. I got the gig. And, so it comes to the first show. I don't know, Joey and I hit it off really well. And, I'm a well-versed musician, so I knew what I was doing. I just had to get that right hand up to speed because Ramone's drumming is all these 16th notes on the hi-hat which were very difficult for any drummer. I used to practice on a pillow to develop my wrists to get them really strong to play that fast. And it was just so amazing, you know. And the one thing from my first song, I remember I made a mistake on one song, and we had to stop. So the whole band stopped and started again. Like, I never did that in my career in any other bands. Usually you just fumble through and get to the end. But they didn't do that. They just stopped and said, okay, let's start again. And we started the song again. So that's my memory from my first show. But, you know, look at the Ramones. I feel blessed to change my life. You know, I'm one of the brothers, and they gave me the life I have today.
Yeah, you know, just reading excerpts of the book, going through it, you know, I get the feeling that Johnny, you know, he was very difficult to work with. He was more of what, like the manager of the band? You had to go through him to get approval? Is that a fact?
Well, he was the boss. Somebody had to take the reins, you know, and I respect that now, you know, because, you know, Joey and Dee Dee, they weren't really, you know, following the money or the bookings or any of that. You know, someone had to be in charge. And so that was Johnny. He was that guy, you know. He had a little book that had every show, every dollar they made through the whole 20-odd-year career, you know. And so he was that guy, and very private. I never had his cell phone number. I never called him. We never went for coffee. He did his own thing. The only time I saw him was traveling in the band or at rehearsal or on the stage. That was it, 100%. And the other guys I used to hang out with on our off time. But a very private person.
Now, did you get a sense that Johnny was maybe a little jealous of you because you were already a skilled, you know, musician? I mean, you had chops, you know.
I think I don't think it was jealousy. He didn't want me to get enough attention. You know, too much attention may have taken away from him. That's why the first two albums I only got to put one song on each album. You know. And also because he wouldn't get the royalties from my songs, you know, so he watched that too. And I don't think it's jealousy. I mean, they were the Ramones. They started in 1974. You know, I was the kid who came in 1983. So, I don't think.
But when
it was
you
jealousy,
came in, you were the only drummer, you know, writing music, right? The other drummers weren't doing that.
Right. Tommy wrote one song. I think Tommy was a co-writer on the original drummer on Blitzkrieg Bop. But I came in, I was singing and writing, and Joey would always tease me and say, "Oh, Richie, you're the Phil Collins of punk rock." I always used to laugh at that.
But as long as you were cool with Joey was the main face. As long as he liked you, I think you fit in. You fit in well there. You know, they didn't bother you too much.
Yeah, I mean, he took me under his wing and said, "Come on, Richie, start writing. We're doing a new album. I want you to sing more." And you know, we were like, you know, locked at the hip. We hit it off really well. And I was in that band 4 years and 10 months, and I swear every day we hung out, whether we were in New York or whether we were traveling. Because we would do like 150 shows a year. That's a lot of shows, you know, because that's where we made our money, was playing live, you know.
And all these years, Richie, you know, now you've grown independently, having your own identity, your own band and sound. Was that hard for you in the beginning, leaving the Ramones, branching out on your own?
Yeah, it was difficult. After I left, I tried to play in other bands, and nothing was really happening, so I stopped playing for a long time. You know, I became a hotel executive. I would run the audiovisual department. I was the director of AV in many, many big hotels around the country. And, you know, I became a suit, you know, Hermes ties and, you know, that type of thing. And then something was itching at me. I was wondering what was missing in my life. And it turned out the reaction you get from the fans, that feeling of being live on stage. So I said, oh, gosh, well, maybe I'm going to start writing again. And then people said you should make a record. And that turned into the record and another one. And I have a new album coming out in February called Live to Tell. And, you know, I always thought, well, I just jumped right in, you know, where the Ramones left off. No, you have to start at ground zero because I'm Richie Ramone. I'm my own artist. People have to get used to my voice and my songwriting and, you know. So it's been a long 12 years, but right now it's paying off, you know. Finally, it took all those years to get to where I am today, you know.
On the telephone line is the legendary drummer Richie Ramone of the Ramones. Yeah, you mentioned Live to Tell, your new album, and the single Not Afraid. Can you talk a little bit about the production of how that was assembled, put together?
Well, that song was written by Mark Diamond, a friend of mine from the Dwarves, and me, Claire, and him went in the studio. I always go to Kitten Robot Studios here in L.A. Paul Ross was the engineer. And we went in there on 2 days. We cut that single and mixed it, and that's it. So that was the single. That's going to be on the album, too. And then the album followed, a few months later. So we play everything live is the way I like to do it. Even the Ramones, all those records I did is the first take. Maybe I got 2 chances, maybe 2 takes. And play live, and then you fix the little bass parts and add the little guitar parts and then do the singing, and that's how it works, You try to go fast. As long as, you tell the band now, when you go into the studio, be prepared. That clock is ticking. Every minute it goes by costs money. So if you're prepared and you know what you're doing, you can, really bang out stuff quick, Now,
when you're currently performing right now, are you on stage for a couple of hours, or is it like an hour show?
No, the show is an hour, and then it can go to like an hour and 15 minutes with 3 different encores. Last night we did 2 encores, and, even the Ramones only played for like 58 minutes. It's playing this kind of music is grueling. You can't do this for 2 hours. You wouldn't make it, you wouldn't survive. So, and even the kids, they've had enough after that long. I don't see how much longer they could slam around and jump around and surf in the audience, It's just the right amount,
Yeah, like I was telling you yesterday, the fans, they still love you. They come to watch you. They want to see you perform out there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, so talk about the other couple of members in your band.
Well, I have Claire Mistake. She's from London, England. She's been with me, now almost 8 years now. She plays the bass. I have Ronnie Simmons now on guitar. He's from Sydney, Australia. Wonderful guitar player and just a complete showman. And, since I front the band and play drums, I need a drummer. So I have Christopher Moyer from Houston, Texas. And, when I go to the front to sing, he plays the drums. So I do a few songs on the drums. Then I'm out front for like 40 minutes. Then I play 3 more on the drums, and then I finish the show out front. To me, this is all about entertaining, and I can't entertain the audience behind all that wood and metal behind the drums. There's no connection. I need to get there. I need to reach my hand out. They need to touch me. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, and that gets them all riled up. So.
And Richie, I was reading a quote, and I think you made such a good point. You were being interviewed elsewhere, and I read a quote. You made a reference to Billie Eilish making records at home, and then they mix it in the studio. It's done electronically now.
Right.
So you must have seen so many changes in the music industry. Is that how they're producing records now, all electronically?
That's pretty much it, because all the pop and hip hop and that type of thing, you can do pretty much everything at home. You need a real studio to mix it, because mixing is more about the room, the environment it's in. Like, for example, you can take a $5,000 microphone and put it in your bedroom. It's not going to sound the same as in a real studio. The acoustics of the room affect the sound of the mic going to the thing. So, with synthesizers and things like that, nothing changes that, because that's a direct sound going right into a computer, So, so they can produce records way, way cheaper, Van Halen back in the day used to go in and get drum sounds, just drum sounds, work on that for like 10 days,
Wow.
And it would cost them, they'd spend like $1 million making a record. $1 million. Today, these bands, you can make a record for $20,000-$30,000 and then get a number 1 hit that pays back millions. So that's why, the labels like that,
So they don't even want to produce albums anymore. They want that major single.
They want singles, It's all about one song. You got one song, you could be a one-hit wonder, It's all about one song. And the whole world just downloads now, so there's really no, buying records isn't the same. The vinyl and the CDs and all that stuff. And that's why you see so many bands on tour now. Everybody tours now because that's where they make their money, playing live and selling their T-shirts type of thing, Because let's face it, Spotify is free, kind of ruined the industry. You can join that for $5-6 a month and download everything for free, so that really killed it for, us artists who aren't rightfully getting the money they deserve for their songs.
And I know you have a busy schedule. Do you follow today's drummers? Anyone stands out?
Today's drummers, no, I don't know. I grew up following Buddy Rich and John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. I mean, there's a lot of great, there's a lot of great drummers. There's a lot of great musicians, and there's a lot of great bands, If you go back to the 70s, late 70s, how many bands were there? Maybe 500,000? There's over 5 million bands now. Everybody wants to be a rock star. So, and some are good, some are great, and, and kudos to everybody who tries, because everyone, to be in a band or to write a good song, not easy to do.
And you missed those days in the van touring with the Ramones around the country?
No, it's a great memory, but I don't miss them. The van had 4 rows. And it would always be, Johnny in the front row, Joey in the second row, Dee Dee in the third row, me in the back of the van. And we used to drive hours in the snow, like up the East Coast, and I always felt, if I get rear-ended or whatever, I'm dead in here, And you'd be driving home like at 1 in the morning, or driving home from Boston all the way back to New York City. So I don't really miss that much, But I do miss the whole band as a whole, and I think of them often, even as every night when I perform some of those songs that I played with the band.
And towards the beginning of the program, I was mentioning you're doing a Terror Fest in Texas, right? That's coming up next week.
Yes. Yeah, so I'll be down in Houston area next weekend, and I do a lot of these autograph signings and Terror Fest, and because I've been in like 2 or 3 horror movies now, and because I picked up acting during the COVID stuff when we couldn't tour, and I really fell in love with acting too. So I do these festivals, and this one's even nice because it has a battle of the bands. I'm going to be one of the judges, and Vinny Appice and Dave Elfison. So we're going to be the judges judging a few local bands there. So it should be fun. And, the actors, I enjoy being around them because they're just as messed up and fun and crazy as rock stars, I mean, when you dig down deep, I've met a lot of people who, I thought they were all a bunch of stiffs, but no way.
So what about the transition from being a music performer to an actor? How is that transition for you? You enjoy it?
It's different, What I like about it, it gets me more to study. It gets me more reading. I have to read the scripts. I have to figure out how to be that character, and how you need to expression and your face with the words. And, when you see these scenes and people are talking back and forth, it's not edited like every second, You may have a scene that goes a minute and a half, and you have to know when to jump in and say your line so it's natural. So it does take a little bit of getting used to. But, and I told the director in the first movie, I said, is this okay? He said, oh, man, you're fabulous. Because I don't want to do something that I'm not good at just because I'm Richie Ramone. But, they said, no, you're great, and, you look great on camera, and blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, then let's do it, And they can see all this stuff on RichieRamone.com because Vengeance 2 is out now. Also, Head Cheese the movie. I have another vampire movie coming out probably in 2 months. So there's a lot going on right now.
So a lot going on. So now you're heading back. Home to
LA.
the States now, going to Texas, right?
Yeah, I'm going to L.A. We leave tonight about 8 o'clock from Mexico City. So then I'll be home 3 days, and then I'll be on a plane going to Houston.
Wow, that's a grueling schedule. So then, so the pipeline. So what's next for you? I know you just mentioned these new projects, but So when do you start touring in 2023?
We have 2 shows on the West Coast, January 6th and 7th. And after that, then I'm taking some time, but we'll be promoting the new record, which will be coming out, right after that, early March, late February. So we'll promote that. And then we'll probably do a European tour, doing festivals, probably starting in July. So I'm going to take a few months off and, focus on all this. And I think I have another movie role. I don't want to talk about it yet, but coming up between then and there. So we constantly try to stay busy. And when I'm not busy, I enjoy playing golf. And it's all good,
So you're a golfer?
Oh, yeah. I'm a 7
Really?
handicap.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, so what is
it's
it?
It's the total
relax
opposite
you?
of rock and roll, and it's just so nice to be out there in the fresh air and the competition. And, I know it's really boring to watch on TV for people, but, boy, sometimes, people get hooked. You can get hooked on this game really, really bad, So my 2 loves are golfing and fishing. I mean, if I had to pick 2 things in my retirement, I like to live near a golf course and live on a lake to fish. Those are my 2 favorite things.
Fascinating. Very interesting. I never knew that. And also, I read something that one of your favorite performers is Pink. Is that true?
Well, one of them. I always wanted to do a duet with Pink. I'm working on that now, trying to do a duet with one of these people because Pink, she's got a real attitude to her music, and I thought that would be great with her, but, I guess they look at Richie Ramone, who is that, type of thing, so, but my publisher they're in Nashville, and, something's going to happen with something like that because, if I could, I would love to do something with one of these artists, a duet. That would push me up the scale like unbelievable, you know what I'm saying? And it would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
So any ways I can try to do that, that's what I'm after next. A solid song, a good duet, and get something on the radio,
Yeah, and now do you keep in touch with the other band, the Ramones, that are left?
CJ I talk to once in a while, but I don't really know Marky at all. I've never really spoken to him. So those are basically the only 2 guys left.
And were you at the last Joey Bash in New York City? Did you perform there?
Yeah, I did the bash, with Joey's brother. May 19th, we always celebrate his birthday. So they always do something in New York. I think they've done it 21 years now since his passing. They're all gone so long now. Joey died like at 49, and it's just unbelievable, that they're all gone at such an early age.
It's crazy. So they're telling me I have 1 minute left. So I want to mention again your website, RichieRamone.com.
Yes.
You can mention your book, Facebook page. Go right ahead, Rich.
Yeah, RichieRamone.com. My Facebook is Richie Ramone Official. Go there, Richie Ramone Official. You're going to see tons of videos. I have the Instagram. You'll find me on there. Such exciting live videos and stuff. And I want to thank everyone who's listening and all the fans around the world. This is thank you so much for coming out to the shows and welcoming me with open arms. I really appreciate that, man. I really do. And we'll see you next year somewhere in your city near you.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough. Have a safe trip back.
Okay, thank you so much, man, and I'll talk to you soon in the future.
We'll speak soon. Happy holidays.
Okay, you too. Happy holidays. Hope you get something good from Santa.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, peace.
Bye-bye. RichieRamone.com is the website, the book, I Know Better Now, My Life Before, During, and After The Ramones. Pick up your copy now. Great read. Until next week, happy collecting to all.